pregame warm-up presented by Scott Credit Union. Your
BlueNote Fan Report. Oh my goodness, what's going on with my camera? I'm looking kind of funky. Hopefully it'll clear up here in a second. Wow. Not sure what's going on. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Not sure what's happening. I don't know if there's a video issue or something, but I guess it might clear up. We'll see here. Could be my internet. You never know. But hey, how are you tonight? On this Saturday night, we got an E. And then we got a Robert Morton. When your parents come over, you say no stupid questions. This is my show. Leave me alone, Mom. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, why I'm getting a little bit of funkiness on there. Let me see. Let me try something. Hey, now that's better. I figured it out. Yes. The technical bunkle jungles the doohickeys aren't gonna mess with us. Hey, how are we doing? So Chris Shockey. Where's Jason Nichols? Where's Mr. Jason Nichols? Jason Nichols, this show is for you. Where are you? Jason Nichols. Let me make sure he knows that the show is on. The shit with Perron just will not go away. I don't understand it. Oh, okay. So no Ashley tonight, but hopefully maybe we'll get somebody. I don't know. Tanner says if anybody wants to come over and help me put together a basketball hoop for her son for his birthday tomorrow, she'd be happy to have some company. Why is it July 16th and people are still setting off fireworks? I know that shit drives me crazy too, Tilo. Drives me absolutely crazy. Okay, so what's going on with the Perron stuff, right? Jim Thomas wrote an article and he basically, asked Doug Armstrong about Perron's comments, and he basically said Perron was great while I was here, and I'm done talking about it. He took the high road, right? He took the high road. I've reached out to some people, and to the best I can tell, there was a contract offered or at least a offer of there was some type of contract offer on the table, right? It sounds like Perron never negotiated it, right? And this is what I get. I'm gonna offer. I got. Oh, here he is. Oh my goodness, Lance Scott, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy kicking cancer's ass. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing okay. I got an issue here. Let me get right back on.
Okay, no problem.
Yep.
Lance will be back in a sec. And I'll wait to talk about what I want to talk about. Oh, that ice cube didn't hit the right spot. Woo! Oh, excuse me. So here's the way I think it went down. And you know, I do want to talk to Lance about it. But to me, it seems like I got $4 million to spend. I got two guys I want. I'd be happy with either one. You know, I'd be happy with Mr. A. I'd be happy. You better, sir?
I don't know what's going on here. It's not. I'm having issues.
Well, I hear you. Okay, so you have two. You have two things you want. Yeah, you have. Here it is. Basically, was Perron told about it? A question I bring up because of the Freeman thing in the MLB. You know what? I don't know, Chris. To be honest, it sounds like he was aware of it. Mr. Lance? Calling Mr. Lance?
Not able to hear you. Dang it. Hold on.
Okay, he's not able to hear me, but I can hear him. So it might be something in his ears. But I can hear you, Lance. We can hear you, buddy. So basically, I got the $4 million to spend, and I'd be okay if Perron signed it. I'd be okay if Letty signed it. Yes, sir? Can you hear me? Lance, man. Lance. Well, I'll leave him up there. I normally we'll see if he comes in or if he can hear me, if he pops back out. But you have this $4 million to spend, and you don't care which way it goes, left or right. So what do? You offer it to them both. Perron, here's $4 million for 2 years. Letty, here's $4 million for 4 years. Same $4 million. I'm offering it to both. Whoever signs it first wins. And it's. Can you hear me, Lance?
I can hear you now.
Yay, we got Lance. So Lance, I was talking about the article that Jim Thomas wrote today.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And basically he asked Doug Armstrong about Perron's comments, and Armstrong took the high road.
Mm-hmm.
Basically said I wasn't going to talk about it.
Good.
All right. Here's what I think happened. You had $4 million to spend. That's what you had to spend. You have two guys, and you wouldn't care which one of the two was on your team, right? You can have Perron and build one way. You can have Letty and build another way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do? Well, I think what he did was he offered $4 million to Perron. He offered $4 million to Letty. Now the term is different, but he offered the same $4 million, and he basically said whoever takes it wins. Well, to be honest, you hear this. Letty didn't accept the contract offer until the day before free agency starts.
Yep.
Right? So his agent made some phone calls and found out that Letty wasn't going to get offered more than that $4 million.
Oh, he did. He did get offered more than 4, but it was only for 2 years. He wanted a longer term.
So there you go. The best contract offer he had came from Perron or from the Blues. Okay, Erickson. Krieger asked what were Perron's comments. Perron was on the Smallman and Character show, or Character and Smallman show on ESPN 101 on Thursday, and he basically said that the Blues did not formally offer him a contract.
Well, yeah,
right?
actually, at the end, he said they didn't offer me a contract, and then towards the end, I ran to character. I asked him again. He goes, "Well, they didn't offer me a contract," and then he paused for about 3 seconds and says, "Formally."
Yeah. Well, yeah. He talked and said. I don't know if I have that interview available to me now. I don't want to spend 10 minutes
That's
trying to
fine.
find it. But I was talking to Erickson there. But basically, he's going on, and he makes this statement. It's kind of like your best friend tells you, "Hey, let's meet up for dinner," and then you never set up dinner. And then character goes, "Oh, so what you're saying is the Blues did not offer you a contract?" And he said they did not formally offer me one.
Actually, he said they
Not
didn't offer
formally.
me. He said they didn't offer me one, and then he paused and said, "Formally."
No,
Yeah,
I think he said they didn't formally offer me one.
I think he paused and said his last word was formally.
You know what? Now you're making me want to go look at and see if I can find that interview.
I might be wrong. I mean, it really doesn't matter either way.
Actually, it does. It does because semantics in this case, semantics matter a lot, right? And I talked about again. I can't believe we're still talking about this. But yesterday, I made the statement. First lie wins, right? And in being that, this is one of those things where, it comes out. We offered him the money, and now he's saying, "Oh, I didn't get offered," and everyone's believing him. And I'm not on board with that, to be honest with you, right?
Well, here's my thing. Why would Armstrong all of a sudden lie? Because he said Backus was offered a contract. Was it the 6.5 million or whatever 6.6 that Backus got from Boston? No, but it was in the $5 million range, 5 to 5.5. He did offer him. He did offer Schwartz a contract. He did offer Petrangelo a contract. We know all that history of him offering people contracts. Why would he all of a sudden come out and say he did offer him a contract and he didn't? He's got no reason to do that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm on the Doug Armstrong side here.
Yep.
Right. I really am. I'm absolutely on Doug Armstrong's side. So I found it. So hold on a second. We're gonna try and
if you can find it.
again.
I just want to say one thing real quick. I think Perron is trying to save face because he knows how much people love him in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want the people to think he took just $750,000 more per year to sign with Detroit when he could have come back to the Blues. He doesn't want the fans to not like him.
Well, I mean, and that's what brought today's show on is our buddy Jason Nichols said, "I can't believe that he walked over $750,000. Right? There's got to be more." I don't think there was more.
There's not.
I think it's term. Well, I think it's term. Right? He was only offered the 2 years where Letty was offered the 4 years. And I think it might be term. But he only got 2 years elsewhere.
Yep.
Right? So here we go. This is, and I hope you guys can hear this, this is the excerpt of the conversation he had. I can't find the full one.
I don't know if I've ever felt I had a chance to come back in the sense that, yeah, some things were said in the media and it's all great and things, but in the background, I guess the best way to describe it, if you're going to tell your childhood buddy you want to have dinner with him, but you never make space for him, that's your priorities in life, and that's how it goes. Kind of felt much the same for me, and I think that's the most disappointing part. I don't know if I've ever felt that I was going to have a chance to stay. And the other thing is a lot of people were talking it was money and all that stuff. It never was the case. So that's the disappointing part for me for sure.
Were you ever presented the choice to stay with the Blues?
No, not formally, no.
All right, there you go.
But at the end of that, he reiterates it and he says, "I was not." Randy character gets him on there and says, "So you weren't offered a contract from the Blues?" And he says, "No." And then he goes, "Not formally." At the end of that, that's the end of
the end of the whole thing.
Yeah,
I don't remember it. I did listen to the whole thing. I don't have it available here.
I've got it downstairs on my computer, but I'm upstairs.
Yeah, no, and I just, I'm shaking my head a little bit. Right, I really am.
Here's the thing, his dinner thing is kind of a way to describe it, because what the Blues probably said, "Hey, we want you back, but we can meet here at $4 million. That's all we can do." And he's like, "Well, maybe thinking he can negotiate, like you said last night." And there was not going to be any negotiations. And I can bet you $10 Armstrong liked Perron enough, and Perron's been enough of this community long enough where he probably told Perron, I've got two choices here. Like you said, I can go after Letty for $4 million, or I can give you $4 million for 2 years. And that's what I got to do. Whichever one of you guys comes up first, that's who's going to get it. And Perron, I guess, took that as that he wasn't wanted.
I think that's a, he may have thought that, I don't think that he thinks, I don't like that. To sit there and say that he wasn't wanted by the Blues is what.
Well, guy, you got to look at, they traded to get him back. If he wasn't wanted, they would have never brought him back.
Yeah. They keep bringing him back, but then again, at the same time, they keep giving him away. They traded him away. Well, they traded him away once and left him unprotected again.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. I wish him the best of luck up there with Detroit. But it's like crazy how many Detroit Blues there are right now.
Yeah, it is crazy. Well, here's the thing. Yzerman built that team in Tampa. There are some pieces that won the cup that weren't there when he was there. Yeah. But he really built that organization. He helped get that organization to where it is.
Oh, yeah.
He knows the type of players you have to have, not just to necessarily win in the playoffs. He knows the type of players you have to get to the playoffs, and the type of players that will show up in the playoffs, like guys like Perron, guys like Sundqvist, who was pretty good in the playoffs for the Blues at times. Yeah. And he knows what it takes. It's not just by chance that he's going after Blues players.
No, it's not. He's going after guys that have been in the playoffs. The Thomas Greiss thing also. I'm seeing articles on that now. People saying, "Oh, why? There were better options for Greiss and that."
No,
you were only given a goalie a 1-year option. There were not better options for 1 year.
And at $1 million. I mean, where else are you going to find an experienced goalie who for 4 or 5 years of his career, when he was playing for a decent team, some of them weren't good in New York, some of them were just decent, and he played very well for the Islanders. I mean, a lot of goalies are good, and then they go to a bad team like Detroit. No, they're not going to be very good.
Yeah, let me pull something up here real quick.
Yeah, and I watched him in Detroit, and I'm going to tell you what. His 3 goals against, I think it's 3.06 while he was in Detroit last year. That is not indicative of the way he played in most games I saw him play.
I am trying to pull up Hoffer stats for the season here. Right? I don't want the playoffs. I want not giving me what I want. Give me a second.
Just put Hoffer Springfield Thunderbirds and it should show up.
Yeah, no, I'm looking for. I want to get his.
Yeah, if you get his stats, it'll show it. If you go to Springfield Thunderbirds.
No. I'm on the AHL site. I wanted the actual AHL site for his stuff, right? And he's not even. And this is the thing. He's not even in the top 20 in GAA. Qualified goalie. So let me their site is not as easy to work as some other sites are for their stats. They've got, I think they qualify at just 1 game, so there's a whole bunch of guys in here that. Okay, here's Hoffer. I found it. You ready? This was Hoffer. Played in 39 games, right? Okay, Hoffer played 39 games. He had 2,252 minutes, 111 goals against. He had 1 shutout, 296 was 18, 14, and 6. Right? His save percentage was 90.5. When you hear that, do you say that's a guy that's ready to play as an NHL backup right now? Did I lose you, Lance? He's muted on me.
I wouldn't have had a problem doing it. I really think it'd be just fine. But with the Blues wanting to give him another year, like Armstrong said, I mean, Greiss got NHL experience. The Blues have so many options with him because he's over 35. If Hoffer all of a sudden just starts lighting it up, You know, people got to understand, guys in the AHL, you can kind of tell if they're going to be good, but there's a lot of guys come from the NHL that go to the NHL that have been touted. Look at what's his name? Damn it, I can't think of it. The goalie, the goalie for Philadelphia. Carter Hart was the golden boy when he was 19, and then Flyers said, no, we got to keep him down there. We got to keep him down there. And then he comes up and he looks decent, and look what's happened to him. And I know the team in front of him is not good, but he does not look as good as he used to be. You know, the AHL can tell you somewhat of a goalie, but you know, and I'm not upset they're not bringing him up. I thought it was an option to do so, and I wouldn't have been upset if they would have.
It's still an option. It actually still is an option, right? If at camp offer wows you, they sign Grease to a minor league contract. They can still put Grease down without putting him at waivers as a 35 plus, because they signed him as a minor leaguer. Right? That was the smart thing. That was the smartest thing about this. They signed him to a minor league contract. That gives them the option to put him in the minor leagues without being a waiver, without exposing him to waivers.
I'm going to tell you some of this guy's stats, some of his best years. Thomas Greiss, 2013-14 with Phoenix, he had a 2.29 goals against and a 920 save percentage. The next year with Pittsburgh, he had a 2.59 goals against with 0.90 goals save percentage. Next year, he had a 2.36, 2.69, had a down year at 3.82, 2.28, 927 save percentage, 913 save percentage, 925 save percentage. On a bad Detroit team, 3 point something goals against and 891 save percentage. That's not equating to the goaltender he really is. It's just not.
No, they didn't have a good team in front of him. And I'm okay with. Look, I'm not. I said this, Lance. I'm okay with the Greiss signing. I think it was a smart move.
I actually love it.
And look, and everyone who goes, well, we should have signed Lindgren. We should have signed Wingwin. We should have signed Wingwin. They did try to sign Lindgren, but they weren't going to sign anybody to more than a 1-year deal. Offer is the guy that you invested in. Offer is the guy, the young guy. Lindgren's 29. Offer's 21. I'm sorry. I'm taking Hoffer over Lindgren. I give Lindgren 3 years. Maybe he gives me a good year this year. I sign Hoffer. Hoffer's going to give me good years for a long time. I just, that's the thing that I don't get. They offered Lindgren a 1-year deal, probably at 1.5 or at 1.25. Same thing that they offered Grease. He didn't want it. He wanted longer term. He's going to Washington. You know what? Backing up Darcy Kemper, that may be great for him. He may do a great job there. That might be a good spot. They've got defense in front of him. Wish him all the luck. But if Kemper gets hurt and he's got to be the guy, not going to happen. Not going to happen. And Nathan Meyer says, is Perry likely to get moved at the deadline in 23 if Detroit misses the playoffs? I follow up with a roster question next. I don't even think it would be 23. I think if they don't, if come March they're not in a solid playoff fight, or February, because that's when I think the trade deadline is this year. In February with late February, and they're not in a playoff fight. Yeah, I could see him moving people. Right, Lance?
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
Right. Jason Nichols says you can count on one hand the goalies that have been good on a bad team. Yeah, I mean, look at Patrick Waugh. Look at why Patrick Waugh was left the Montreal Canadiens and will have nothing to do with them. Nothing to do with the Canadiens.
Yeah.
Right. He got hung out to dry. He gave up like 8 goals, and they wouldn't pull him. Right, and it wasn't him. It wasn't him. It wasn't him playing bad. The team was just junk in front of him. And he came to the bench and he said, I will never play for this team again.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people will say Grant Fuhr wasn't a good goalie. Here's why he was.
Martin Brodeur, the teams he was on, a lot of times he would face 14 to 18 shots because of the defensive scheme. Was he a very good goalie and one of the greats? Yes, but he normally didn't face a ton of shots, and I'm not taking anything away from him. Patrick Waugh, when he won the cup, his teams were very, very good defensively. You cannot say most of the 80 to 91 era Oilers were top in defense. They were decent, but they weren't top, and that's why Grant Fuhr is one of the best. Yeah, maybe he gave up 3-something goals a game, but dang it, they had no defense.
Yeah, I'm with you. Jason Nichols says $700K is nothing to $4 million. It's change. Check the yearly interest on $1 million in the bank. 100,000, 2%, something like that. Or no.
Right now, if you give a bank 100,000, they're going to give you about 2 to 3% interest at the most.
Yeah. If Tarasenko, O'Reilly, and Barbashev are all allowed to work, are allowed to walk after this next season, this team will look totally different. I know that is the worst case scenario, but it could happen. No, one of those three will not. All three of those will not walk. That I can't see. Right. They've already talking. Armstrong is already talking about offering Kyrou money, right? Good money.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think Kyrou gets offered the same $8 million that Thomas got. I don't think he's on. I know Thomas hasn't made the All-Star game yet, but I don't think that Kyrou is on Thomas's level.
Well, no. Here's the thing: centers always make more money than wingers. I mean, they're always going to make more money than wingers. That's just the way it is. I mean, Gretzky made more money than all of his line mates did. And yeah, he was the greatest player in the world, but that's the way it goes. Kyrou will probably get somewhere around 7, I would think, but he's not going to get 8.1 million a year.
Yeah, Husso is 25, I think, or 26. He may have just turned. I think he just turned 25. And he has been in the blue system for a while. Hoffer could easily win the backup spot. Yeah, that's what I said. Grice's insurance. I agree with that. I wonder whose management favor.
I think
favors more.
I think
Hoffer, Ellis. Say again.
He's 27.
He's 27. I thought he was because if he was 27, he would have been a UFA before now.
He's 27.
Okay. I was wrong.
I just looked it up.
Okay. I think management favors Hoffer right now, though Ellis could easily step that back up.
Yeah, Ellis, I'm going to tell you, he's got some things to work on. It's kind of like when I saw Lindgren come up, and I said that's why the guy's not a full-time backup or a goalie in the NHL. He's not quick a lot of the times to get up from when he goes down and the pad stack. He's just not quick enough, and from side to side he was too slow. And I see some of those same things with Ellis. But fortunate for all of us, Ellis is young enough, very young, I think 18 or 19, to where you can really teach him a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up my this article that Jim Thomas wrote, because a couple of guys are saying that he didn't talk about Kyrou, and I'm pretty sure I read in the article that he did bring up Kyrou.
I know he talked about Kyrou in one of the articles. I don't know which one it is.
Say again?
I know he talked about Kyrou in one of them articles by Thomas or Gordon or one of them other people.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up right now.
Can I ask you a question, Guy? And I know you're probably going to feel the same way I do. If you're Randy Carricker, why do you have to ask that question? All it does is you know what's going to happen is Perron's probably going to not give the most positive answer, and it's just going to stir crap up. Why ask it?
Right. Okay, here we go. So this is in the Jim Thomas article, and I'm going to read this verbatim. After signing Robert Thomas to a record-setting 8-year, $65 million contract extension Wednesday, Armstrong indicated the next priority is to get another young budding star, Jordan Kyrou, under contract. Kyrou's deal almost certainly will be in the neighborhood of Thomas's contract. That I don't agree with.
I don't either. It'll be 7 something. It ain't going to be 8.
I think it'll be closer to 5.5, 6.
Nope. It'll be much more than that.
Well, it all depends on what he does this year, right? No, I meant Steven's comments didn't mention Cairo, he said O'Reilly, Tereshchenko. Oh, no, okay. Yeah, Stephen Glass. No, but what I was talking about was I misunderstood. I was referring to the article. Sorry, Matt Lowe, there. What I was trying to get at, who fills Perry's top 6 spot? Oh, you mean Perry. Okay, you mean Perron. I think that's easy. Shin. I think Shin moves into that spot. What do you think?
I'd rather put Shin there than anybody else.
Right. I can see him giving Cairo a try.
Maybe, yeah.
Right. And here's the thing. The one thing that you have to realize about St. Louis is they don't have a number 1, number 2, number 3 line. Okay? They have a 1A, 1B, and those guys really play about the same amount of minutes. Right? They really do. They really play about the same amount of minutes. And the quote-unquote third line plays a little bit less than those first 2 lines. So they roll 3 lines pretty regularly. It's your fourth line that's only getting 10 minutes, 10, 11 minutes, okay? But those 3 lines, they're rolling them. And I noticed this. I was watching TOI all season long. I do the show, the intermission shows, and I bring up TOI all the time, right? And it's usually pretty even right down the side for the forwards, right? So I could see Cairo getting a little bit of getting a look up on that line. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to have a fantastic year. Need to lock him down. Well, with Cairo, I think it's a bigger risk than Thomas, and I don't want to lock Cairo down until I know where he's at, till I know that he's still has upside, and that's a concern with me. I just hope Chief keeps Thomas and Cairo together, preferably with Tereshchenko. And now, see, I don't like that line, Matt Lowe. I don't like that line. I mean, I like Tereshchenko is sneaky fast, and I get that. But Tereshchenko, I don't know. I don't think I'd rather have Bushnevich on that line. I'd rather have Thomas, Bushnevich, and Tereshchenko together. Oh, also, in that article, did you notice his comments about Tereshchenko? Did you notice Armstrong's comments about Tereshchenko?
Yeah, he basically said he's here for this year, but I'll tell you, if somebody blows him away, guy, he's not keeping him.
Okay, well, you're going to have to it's going to have to be a 5-for-1 deal. And I'm not talking, 5 AHL guys. I'm talking 5 NHL ready players right now.
He wants 3 or 4 pieces. He doesn't want 5.
Right, but then he wants, then draft picks to go with it. And one of them's going to be a first. Right? One of them's going to be a first. But here's the thing. The fact that, it was brought up because Jim Thomas brought it up and said, a national media guy brought up that the trade request hasn't been rescinded. And I think Armstrong blew that off. I think it has been rescinded. I really do. I'm 99.9% sure that quote unquote trade request has been rescinded. And just reading the comments, it almost tells you that it has. Right?
Well, how can you rescind a trade request when there was never a trade request?
That there was never really a trade request. He made a really good comment. Hold on. A subject that touches both today and tomorrow is Tereshchenko. On more than one occasion this past season, indicated that Tereshchenko's trade demand of last summer was no longer an issue. Okay, that right there, and he's got trade demand in quotes. So I think Jim Thomas now is with us that wasn't a trade demand per se, right? Then, out of the blue, a report surfaced at the NHL draft last week in Montreal that Tereshchenko had not rescinded his trade demand. So is this an issue again? And I got it. You know what? This is, I think, the best Armstrong quote ever. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole anymore. He's under contract, and I expect to have him, like I expect Ryan Riley to be here too. I expect I expect Barbashev. They have 1 year left on their contracts at St. Louis Blues, and then they're unrestricted free agents. I like that. I like that. I like that. I think that he basically says, no, there's absolutely nothing to that, and that there is no quote-unquote trade request. Matt Lowe says the chemistry between those three is unbelievable to me. I like well, I think Tarasenko has gotten to the point now where the chemistry with him is unbelievable between anybody. I think Tarasenko could play with anybody. I think he's got himself to that point. You agree, Lance?
Yeah, I think he's got himself to the point to where he's a good enough player where he can basically play with anybody and make other players better.
All right, Stephen Glass says Kyrie's a small guy. He doesn't do well in the corners. I think the Blues can spend that money better.
Oh my God!
That's why I don't think. I don't know. We're going to have to see.
Here's the thing. I don't care how he does in the corners. You know, not everybody is going to be this feisty guy that goes to the corners. You need goal scorers, guys. You know, this idea that the only reason we won the cup is because we were heavy and we beat everybody to a pulp. No, the reason we won the cup is because of Jordan Binnington and timely scoring. That is why we won the cup. Because Boston was beating us up just as well. If you want to, you could say Boston was a heavy team then too. You know, that whole look at that team is very, I don't know, it's very blinded in my mind. That team had better scoring than it's given credit for. It really did.
Yeah, Jason Nichols says Kyrie needs meat, potatoes, and time. Well, he is 6'1", so he's a big kid. I'm 6'2", so I know what that is. Stephen Glass says maybe, but I think the Blues have a better chance of keeping O'Reilly than Tarasenko. Tarasenko's trade demand is not an issue because he is here for the season. I don't think it ever was an issue. I think the media made so much. I remember when this first came out. I remember, and Armstrong said something, and it really resonated with me and marinated. It's like, you know that beef stew that you leave cooking on the pot for a long period of time at low heat to get that sauce nice and thick, like a stew should have, right? It's almost gravy-ish. You know what I mean there, Lance?
Yep.
He said, I want to thank, and whoever Tarasenko's agent was, for keeping a lid on this. Because he knows it was Tarasenko's agent to put it out, right? And the way he said that, it made it to me like that wasn't a truth. That's why...
It wasn't always Tarasenko. The first article on it was by our buddy, Jeremy Rutherford. Rutherford was the first person to put it out there, and he continues to this day to put it out there.
Well, he says, and when confronted with it, right, he says, well, they've never denied it. They've never confirmed it either.
No, they haven't.
Right? They haven't confirmed it
and you know what?
Denied it.
That's a dumb thing. Well, I'm going to print this, so I'm going to ask them about it. Well, they didn't deny it, but they didn't confirm it. But, well, since they didn't deny it, it must be true, so I'm going to print it. That is irresponsible journalism.
Well, I think he got more than one source, okay? And I know that because I know that he's not going to put it out with more than one source. But I think what his source was, I do think that Armstrong took a look at because he knew that Tarasenko shoulder injury could be an issue. And he wanted to see what Tarasenko's value was. Okay, Lance, I want to do this, right? I know that you're, and I'm going to use you in your situation. Are you okay with that for the moment?
It's fine.
Okay, so you're part of the BlueNote Fan Report, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going through your illness, and I know that this illness is starting to take a little bit out of you. And you come up to me and you say, you know, guy, I know I'm under contract with you, but just with my illness right now, I'm really not sure how much I can continue to to do what you want me to do, is there some way I can have a lesser, or is maybe, can I go to another podcast or something like that? Would you be willing to let me do something like that? And I go, well, Lance, let me think about that. And then I go and I call some of the other podcasts. I say, hey, I got Lance on, but he kind of wants to go away. I got him under contract. What would you be willing to trade for his contract to take his contract on? And that's what I think he did. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Right? So he looks at that a little bit, and nothing like everyone comes up and says, not really, or I'm not really willing to give you up anything. Let's Go Blues Radio says, you know what, guy, we'll take Lance, but we're not giving up, future considerations type thing. Right? And at that point, no. Well, then as you get better, but and that's how I think he got his second thing. One of the GMs said, yeah, we got a call on him, da-da-da-da. And I think he blew it out of proportion. I really do. And I got nothing against Rutherford. I'd love to bring him on and ask him. I'd love to bring him on, absolutely bring him on and ask him. I not like it, but I have that right to ask. I know he's more in tune. I know he's more got his ear to the ground a lot more than I do. But I would love to bring him in. I'd love to ask him. I'd love to bring it up and say, hey, I really want to talk to you about this, and I hope you don't get upset. But I really think it would be interesting. Trade Scandella for a 6th round pick. You know what, Colin? I love you, bud. And he sent me some really good stuff. He talks to me on Twitter, and he sent me some good stuff. But I got to sit there and the hate for Scandella, I don't get. Lance, can you explain to me why Blues fans hate Scandella so much?
I don't get it. He's an experienced big defenseman. Yeah, makes mistakes. Every defenseman makes mistakes. Has he made some terrible ones? Yes. But if you go through even a Bobby Orr's career, he made mistakes. He's a Berube type of player, and I know people get sick of hearing that, but that's what he is. And at $3.2 million for what he brings, I have challenged people to tell me, who are you going to bring in that's as big and physical, that is a pretty good, not great, he's not a great defenseman, a good, solid defenseman for that price who fits in Berube's system, and nobody can do it. Nobody can do it. Just go get somebody. We can save that money and get somebody. Well, who you want? I want Chychrun. Well, do you know what Arizona's asking? And do you notice nobody's trading for him? There's a reason why nobody's trading for him. He's not as good as Blues fans think he is. GMs know who he is, and they're not willing to give up 4 to 5 pieces for him. That's why he's not traded, and that's one of the reasons why, like Chychrun and other defensemen that teams want a buttloaded picks for, that's why Armstrong has never pulled the trigger, because he's satisfied at the price and value of Marco Scandella.
Colin says he's playing. He's not that bad. St. Louis Blues fans said we trade Scandella for a first and get Oparov. I don't think you're getting a first out of Scandella. If you were able to trade well, first of all, Scandella has a no trade clause, and I want to say it's an interesting no trade clause, right? Right, and let me see if I can bring up our favorite website when it comes to this, cap friendly. Scandella has, and I want to make sure I got this right, a 7-team no trade clause. Right? I bet you I could guess all 7 teams, all of them, without a problem. And no, I got it. Yes, he has a 7-team no trade clause. Do you think you could name all 7 of those teams, Lance?
No.
I bet you I could.
I could probably name some of a lot of, probably Chicago,
Nope.
Arizona.
Nope. The number 7 sticks out to me, and here's why. You ready? I'm going to name them: Ottawa, Montreal, Tampa Bay, Winnipeg, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver. Remember Scandella's comments about Canada and not wanting to be up there?
Oh yeah, he doesn't want to play in Canada for sure. I didn't
There
say
you
that.
go.
I didn't say
That's
that
that
all of them.
7-team no trade clause. He is not going to play for a Canadian team. He is not going to play for a Canadian team. Oh, by the way, yesterday, I don't want to know if he's a fan favorite, but a Blue that a lot of people like signed a contract with, was it Carolina?
Yep, I told you
Carolina.
last night. We forgot to mention it last night.
Yep.
I guess
Mackenzie
you didn't know.
McCacken signed a 2-way deal, 1 year, 2-way deal with the Carolina Hurricanes. So he'll probably end up spending more time in the AHL. I liked McCacken when he was up. I liked what he did, but he just never seemed like he blossomed in any role he was put in.
I put him in the same type of player as Sammy Blake. Can be an energy guy, can do some things, but you're playing too much and he gets exposed. That's who Mackenzie McCacken is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Our buddy Ian says Scandella, Quinn Hughes confirmed. He says here, news from Minnie, Wild signed Liam Ogren, the 2022 19th overall pick in this last draft. He looked really good in the development camp, really liked his game. Yeah, development camps are interesting. I guess the Blues scrimmage is on YouTube and you can watch it. It's an hour long. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I probably will. I'm trying to catch up on your comments, guys.
I did watch it. I'll tell you one thing that I tell everybody from prospect camps. Prospect camps tell me nothing about if a player's AHL or NHL ready. What it tells me is how good they are against other prospects. Now, I'm being told by several people on Twitter, and I don't know if you see it, that Bolduc and Neighbors are definitely going to make this team, and so are several of the Blues' other young players. They're all going to go young. Well, my question is this. If that's true, hey, no problem. But does Craig Berube like bringing up guys from the juniors or guys that have played very little in the AHL? He's done it a little bit, but he doesn't do it all the time. He does not like young players without enough experience to where he doesn't have to get onto them for their defense. And I like Neighbors and what he can bring offensively, but my God, guys, he is terrible defensively. I'm not saying he's just average. He's terrible. And I just don't see him being here all season long. Could he come up later? Yeah. But I've had this argument on Twitter with all these people thinking the Blues are going to have 3 or 4 young players on this team straight out of college or the NHL or the juniors, and it's not going to happen.
Well, I can answer this one, Colin. Why did Pat Maroon not re-sign? Because he wasn't offered a contract. You know, he had a 1-year deal, and it wasn't the money. They wanted to bring up younger players. They wanted to bring that up. They didn't think that Pat Maroon's toughness was what was needed, and some of that stuff that he brings. Obviously Tampa did, and that's why he's got 3 rings and been to 4 straight finals.
Well, right? Yeah, he's also played for some very good teams. He's a piece. You know, these people think you can trade for a guy, and just because he won a cup and he was a 4th line player, that, he's going to bring that toughness and we're going to win a cup. That's not the way it works. Did they win a cup this year? He was on the team. Why didn't they win a cup this year? Well, things happen, and you don't always win cups. I like Pat Maroon. And Pat Maroon told the Blues he wanted 2 years. Yep. So, Pat Maroon made that decision. So the Blues were out of it because, like I said, they wanted young players, and Pat Maroon said he wanted 2 years, and the Blues said, Pat, we love you, but we can't do it.
Yeah, we had to look otherwise. Matt Lowe says Neighbors is a defensive player, Lance. Well, I didn't see that defense. No. I'm going to back.
Not.
He might be getting defensive, but I didn't see his defensive. Right?
No,
I do like that he's not going to juniors. I really do. Right?
I watched him in juniors, and I'm going to tell you, he's not good defensively. Some of the stuff he gets away with in juniors, everybody, he's not going to get away with that in the NHL. Trust me, I've watched him. The best way for me to put it, he reacts instead of anticipating. And when you start reacting defensively and not anticipating what's going to happen as a forward, you get yourself in a lot of trouble.
Right. No. You know what? The thing with Petro, Colin, and I know you and me have talked about this at length. it was never going to work here, right?
Nope.
If Pietrangelo wanted to stay in St. Louis, Pietrangelo would have stayed in St. Louis.
And he could have.
The deal was there.
The deal was close.
deal
It was
was
very
there.
close. Yep.
Right, the deal was there. I know he's rooted. Pietrangelo wanted stability. That's what he wanted. More than anything else, he wanted stability. And I'm not going to blame the guy. But at the same time, he could have gotten that stability without some of his demands.
Yep.
Right? There's things that you can work with. You know, you can work a no trade clause. Okay, well, here's the thing. What's the difference between a no trade clause and a no movement clause? No trade clause, you cannot be traded at any time unless you waive it.
Mm-hmm.
A no movement clause, you cannot be made open to an expansion draft. That's the only difference. Do you think the NHL is going to expand in the next 7 years? And to be honest with you, at this moment, I don't. I don't think the NHL is going to expand again. I think they're going to sit where they're at 32 teams.
Yeah, because I'm going to tell you, every time you expand, you know what happens to the league, and people will disagree with me. When there was 21 teams, the league was pretty good all around. There were some bad teams, but they were pretty competitive all around. When you go up to 31, 32 teams, you're watering down the talent. Just like baseball.
I'm not gonna jump on that bandwagon yet.
Guys,
still think
there's only so many. I'm going to tell you right now. Out of some of these teams, there's guys, at least 2 or 3 guys out of each team that when there was 21 teams, they never would have made a roster. Never.
Okay, now that might be on, but I still think that if you take the Montreal Canadiens and you put them up against the Chicago Wolves, the Canadians win a 7-game series in 5 games.
Well, but guy, the AHL doesn't compare to the NHL. Is what I'm saying.
The AHL is the step down.
It's a big step down. What I'm saying is there might still be guys in the AHL, but anytime you expand, I don't care what anybody says, because if those guys were that good, they would have been on one of those 21 teams. Now there may be some political situations, where a guy didn't do a thing a certain way and the team, blackballed him, and I understand that. But if you're good enough to play in the NHL, those NHL teams are going to find you to play in the NHL.
Right? No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Brian and Matt are Ryan and Ian are having a little conversation here. I'm not sure. Matlow says in his 9 games last year, he didn't light the lamp, playing in body and getting pucks deep, and he was in his own zone a lot. Talking about Neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pay a little more attention. I will pay him a little more attention to Neighbors. I'll go back, Matlow, and try and pay a little more attention to Neighbors. I will do that for you, bud, and try and get because I know you know what you're talking about. I know you see things like I see things somewhat, so I'm there. Matlow says we would have signed Stasny for our 4th line center instead of Nolakari. Well, I'm actually I got to disagree there. I think Stasny had his chances here and got here and got too comfortable. I really do. I think he got home and got comfortable. Right? He never panned out here. He was never what he should have been here. He was always better elsewhere. He was always better on other teams, and he's still available. Right? There's the difference right here. Paul Stastny is still available. Yes, that is right. He's still available. 4 days into free agency, and he's there. So you've got, and we talked about this yesterday, and this was one of the things I talked about. Right now, Subban, Kessel, Kadri, Stastny, Klingberg, Niedermeyer, Erickson. These are guys that are still available. They haven't been signed yet. Right? Now Subban, okay, he got his cap hit was $9 million. He's not going to get $9 million again. You could probably pick him up for $2 or $3 million. That's a bargain. Kessel, 34 years old, same thing, Mr. Hot Dog. You can pick him up, $4 million. Hoffman type deal. Bergeron. Why isn't he signed with Boston yet? Right? What's the deal there?
They're trying. They're trying to make room for him money wise.
Okay, Kardi. Still, as much as I hate this guy, he's made a name for himself. He earned himself some money, but no one will sign him. Right? There are still teams out there that do not want this man on their team.
At any price.
Michael
At any
Elzato's
price.
still out there.
Yeah. Well, that's not shocking.
Well, I know, but I'm doing that for my fantasy league. Braden Holtby is still out there. Braden Holtby, a Stanley Cup winning goalie, who was on a decent team but not a great team, is still out there. Right? So that's the things that tell you that there. Right? Nathan says, I look at the Leddy signing as an anchor defense piece. No, and it's what it was, and we'll go over, we're almost at the hour anyways, and I know Lance isn't feeling good, so I don't want to keep him too long. But when it comes down to it, okay, well, Lance has got to go. Say I called that on the nose.
Man, you're good. You're good.
Called that on the nose. So, it comes down to he had the money. He said, okay, I can build it. I can use it either way, and I'm happy using it either way. I can spend it on Perron. I can spend it on Leddy. I'm going to offer it to them both, and whoever takes it first wins. Well, Leddy took it. And since Leddy took it, that's where we went. I don't think you were getting a better defenseman than Leddy for $4 million. I just don't. I don't think he was out there I think defense was an area that was weak in this free agency. Right? So guys, great thing. Great. I see more forwards being available in the next 3 years. Then I do two-way defensemen. And the cap is likely to increase considerably. Well, that's the big thing. You know what? Because he wanted term. I don't know why he didn't take it. I honestly don't know why. He was offered it. He didn't take it. He didn't negotiate. He basically, it was there and nothing else happened. Right? Perron is saying formally he wasn't offered anything, but we know that he was offered something. That there was talk and that he just told him he wasn't interested. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Yeah, he was, but, when it comes down to it, it sounds like he was offered something, and he's trying to save face. And you know what, Colin, I'll agree with you there, right? That Scandella and Parayko aren't the best partner. Well, guys, we're right at that hour. Great show tonight. I didn't expect to have a good show, but I did. Thank you all. This is Guy the Y Blues fan for Lance Scott saying aloha, mahalo, and I'll see you all on the next BlueNote Fan Report. Aloha.